And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all for being here. Welcome, top of the morning, man. Bryan, boy, the people sound deflated out there, man. Well, I guess, when you winning games out there, they go, all right, Voch, every win matters. Well, boy, you get a little blowout versus the Eagles. They don't even want to play next week versus the Washington team, Bryan, bro. That's just as the world turns. They're starting to see what we were seeing when we would start talking about draft so early, bro. I'm just noticing some of the sentiments out there in Cowboy Nation. But it's all good, though, man. It's all right. It's all right. It takes a loss like that.
How do you think they really feel? How you're usually really good about the pulse of the people. How do you think the fans feel? Are they ready for this to be over? Are they excited? Are they worried about Jerry and Steven and what could happen? Where do you think the pulse of the fans are right now?
I think it's a legitimate 33. It's three, like it's a triangle of people. It's the full-blown draft people. We've been doing this since October, as me and you. There's the people that show up every Sunday and they want to win the game. It just is what it is. Die hard, want to win the game. And then there's the people, I just noticed this faction of people, is that they're here, they're going to continue to watch the games, but they're dying inside and they can't wait for it to be over. But they're going to sit through it and still kind of go for it. You know what I'm saying? So, just me kind of looking at those three factions, it's interesting because we can't all just come to an agreement that we're just not going to be on the same page about this. It's all like, oh, you're an idiot. You why are you playing to lose the game? All this kind of stuff. And then there's other people like, you're an idiot. Look at what the Giants are doing. We're never going to do anything if we don't get one of these premium first round picks. And I do think it's an interesting discussion. I would love to open up the phones and let those three factions fuss about it, but they'll never call in at the same time. They never want to talk on the phone and really fight it out. They just want to type on the internet.
Yeah, I always want them to win because I know it makes my job easier on the pre and post game shows. It makes it easier on the radio. But man, I do like the 33 and 33 and 33 theory.
Sure.
I do, man. That is some brilliance on your part. I'm thank you for sharing that because I do feel like that. I think we're getting to the point where the group that wants them to win is now to the fact of let's get this to the end. Let's get this to the end and let's see what happens. I wonder if there's going to be a group out there, and I'd love for the folks to chime in the comments if they would. Is there a group out there that absolutely does not trust this front office to draft the right people? Or are they worried? You worry about team building. Are you worried about them not having a good draft if, say, they're picking, 11th or so? And I mean that, are they going to be able to handle this? I wonder if there's people out there worried because we always talk about they draft well. There's a group out there that don't believe that they draft well, that they're worried that like, well, okay, they've drafted some guys, luckily Schoonmaker and Mozzie have made some improvements. But, they still remember the Taco Charltons and, and those dudes, Tristan Hills, this is Dallas is they're back up there and, they're back there near the top of the board. And I wonder what the fan level, is there excitement? Is there apprehension? Where are you as a fan base right now with this potentially 11th pick? Are you like scared to death that they're going to mess this thing up? Or are you excited that, no, they're going to pick 11th in every round and this thing's going to turn back around quicker than, what the Commanders have done and some of these other teams?
I think, and Bryan, we say this every year, really, but I think it's super important now because of the turnaround that the roster is going to have. Is free agency's got to be way more important than it's ever been this year than the past 5 or 6 or 7 or something like that, Bryan. Like, it's going to be so many guys gone, and then the money's just going to immediately move to number 11 or 73 or whatever it is that they're going to do with the money. And you really got to, like they always say it, like, hey, we got a team full of starters so we can walk in the draft, brand new, but a team full of starters for them is like Nolan Carroll and Daryl Worley and them, Brian, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't consider Armani O'Rourke as I don't consider those guys to be like ready to play guys where we ain't got to worry about this. I really want them to try to build their team the best they possibly can through free agency so that we're literally walking in the draft like, hey, no matter what happens, we've gotten CeeDee Lamb some help. We've gotten some real offensive linemen. We found a one tech. We got a pass rusher going along with Michael. We got some safeties back there. I'm straight. I could draft Malachi Starks if that's what you give me, Brian.
Yeah.
But
my brother, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it's not this year.
It's not. And man, I think you have a really good plan for team building. I think a lot of folks out there have an idea of how they'd want this thing to shake down. Free agency to them is going to be to resign maybe one or two of their own, try and extend Micah, and then bottom fish the hell out of this before the draft.
Yeah.
And hope that they can hit on some more, guys, that the Carl Lawsons of the world and, Butlers and guys like that. I think that's what they're hoping. I don't see them going out and spending money and grabbing other free agents from other teams. I just don't. I see them, trying to do the economics of it. And listen, I want to believe the people that are out there, the cap folks that are kind of talking every day about this team and they'll have this and flip this switch and man, they got $100 million and all that. I'm just telling you, man, I know the dudes in that room. And when they're kind of speaking like, we ain't got it. I mean, I believe them for some, and maybe I believe them because for 14 years I worked with them.
Yeah.
When they tell me it is going to be tough, I believe them. And I gotta love Jeff Kavanaugh. And I love when guys do content and gals do content telling me how to flip switches and do things with the cap that I've never ever understand in my life before. But when the guys and the gals that are doing the cap for this football team shake their head and suck wind through their teeth, I tend to believe them.
Yeah.
I tend to believe them. And that in itself has got me like, okay, I don't see them going out and spending. I see them drafting their ass off, though.
Yeah.
I see them spending on college free agents that are on their board.
That's it, right
The Span Fords and the guys like that.
Mm-hmm.
I see that. But you're right. It'd be so nice to walk in that draft and have a couple of these positions knocked out.
Yeah.
That you don't have to go do something there. Yeah.
Brian, a part of me feels like the Cowboys' success, so to speak, would be their downfall, right? Because now,
no question.
Because now Jerry Wayne Jones get to come out and be like, well, look at what
question.
Brock Hoffman did it as an undrafted guy, or what Rico Dowdle did as an undrafted guy.
There you go.
And that's gonna really make them go, all right, bet this is gonna be how we approach, and that's how we're gonna feel.
Yeah.
You can really fill your roster out, Brian, and all them dudes that make the team. 15 or 16 or so undrafted guys, all those guys will make the damn team, bro. And that's going to be their free agency. We're going to, buy some veterans cheap, and that's how we're going to do it again.
Yeah, and I asked Stephen Jones this question, and I actually tried to give him a chance to take a victory lap on this because, me and I don't know the numbers. I mean, I really don't. There's a lot of smart folks out there that understand the numbers, and God bless you for that. But when I look on the over the caps or ask the cap people or whatever, I'm talking to Stephen Jones. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to understand this valuation of players, not evaluation, but evaluation. What's a player worth? And I ran off some numbers for Stephen Jones. I said, you got a $12 million guard that you're paying $1.1 million to. You've got a running back that's worth $14 million that you're paying $1.1 million to or $1.2 million to. And you could just hear him, like it was almost like he said, Stephen Jones is like, well, thank you, acknowledgement. Hey, we've been fortunate. It wasn't like, yeah, no, we need to get better.
Yeah.
We need to do better. It was It was the acknowledgement that, and I was trying to get him to tell me that free agency for them was trying to pay players $1.2 million and get $12 million of evaluation from them.
Yeah.
That's where, and I think that's why the Cowboys don't get into free agency. I just don't. I don't think they want to spend 10, 12, 15 million dollars a year on a player that they feel like that they could get for $1.2 million. I mean, they're comfortable. Yeah. Saquon Barkley, Henry, Jacobs, you can name all those guys, and man, what a big deal. But then you just go down the list, a couple more players, and there's Rico Dowdle.
Yeah.
They have a top 10 running back that they're paying $1.2 million to. And to them, they're like, okay, but they're also paying, let's be honest. I don't know what the dead money is on Zeke, but it was like $8 million.
Plenty. Yeah.
Something like that. So in actuality, they're paying a running back $10 million to be on the roster because they got $8 million in dead money and another $2 million in salary. So they're probably sitting there looking at like, well, damn, we are paying a running back, but it's just not the one that, Rico Dowdle deserves the $10 million, not Ezekiel Elliott.
Sure. When
it comes to, but it's, I think that's the way they're going to operate. I think they're going to, like you talked about, I'd love to see them do it the way you said. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's going to be reality. I think reality is going to be their own, maybe one other, maybe a trade, and now let's bottom fish the hell out of this thing.
They better get that draft right, Bryan Broaddus. They better make sure to hit on day 3 guys.
Go ahead. You're picking on the 11th hole. It potentially, I mean, you win this game, you could be taking yourself completely out of a first round. This might be a draft. I haven't even done the quarterbacks yet. Let me count this up real quick. 3, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 13. 2 quarterbacks, like 15 first round grades, bro.
Yeah.
15 first round grades. Just as it sits right now.
Honestly, and Bryan, that's something else I've been trying to explain to people, that every draft ain't the same. So when they talk to me about this, well, Voch, didn't you draft CeeDee Lamb at 16 or something like that? Man, you got to look at it. CeeDee Lamb even made it that far. But you may not have enough first-round grades, especially in this draft. You may not have enough first-round grades to reach all the way to – you may have 13, 14 this year. Yeah. You may have 13, 14. And I just want to be in a position where I get one of those guys. And you may get the last one, but if I got a solid choice between them, plus we have to, think about the idea of the 3 quarterbacks that are possibly going to go there.
That's what I didn't include. I put 2 of the quarterbacks in my 13, and then I put 2 in there just as maybe how I think it might fall. That gave me 15 names. Yeah. So literally, if I drop past 15 on my board right now as we speak, I'm going to be really close to getting a first round grade off my board at 15. Which that usually some years this thing I haven't seen it this low in a while. Usually it's between 18 and 22 names, and this 15 is pretty low.
Yeah,
pretty low. Yeah.
Well, Bryan, when me and you first started doing this thing, the Cowboys were doing the right thing. My big 6 was Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty, Ted McMillan, Abdul Carter, and Luther Burden was at the back end of it, or whatever, Bryan. And Mason Graham from Michigan. That was my big 6.
Yeah.
Bryan, we're lucky if we sniff Luther Burden now. That's just where we at. So now let me ask you this. We can even make it like a game, Bryan. It's like, if I just got this little list pulled up, let's do it like that, Bryan. Now, originally, if you're looking at the 5, 6, 7 pick, maybe you wouldn't think about some of these names. Bryan says this. Let's say we're at 12. Let's just even it out, average. We're at 12 overall. And I'm going to give you some names, and let's talk about whether we'll take them there or not. Okay. Bryan, Will Johnson, cornerback from Michigan, we weren't looking at him at first. If we're at 12th overall, do you think that he's fallen enough or we're in a good position where the value makes sense for him?
I think you're absolutely in the right spot for him. I don't see Will Johnson as being a top 5 guy.
Sure.
But maybe top 12 to 14. Yes.
It's interesting, Bryan, because that's what my audience love to get on my ass and fight me for no reason. That's cool. But they heard me saying positive things about Kelvin Banks, the tackle from Texas. Kelvin wasn't in my first Big Six, and people thought I hated him. I was like, well, Voch, it's good to see that you've turned around and changed your mind on Kelvin Banks now. My mind didn't change about Kelvin Banks. We're drafting 12.
Where you would take him did.
Bryan, do you think Kelvin Banks is a prime candidate for 12th overall?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I agree too, Bryan.
And I feel like that I might even play him at guard. That's where I kind of look at him. But right guard. I'm past the Brock Hoffman playing right guard for 17 games. I'm past that right now. I think Brock Hoffman playing 5 games, probably a good deal.
Yeah.
Brock Hoffman playing 15 to 17 games a year.
It'll show you a lot.
Yeah.
Show you a lot. Yeah. And, if we could just touch on the Eagles film a little bit, Bryan, one thing that I noticed is I'm going to be really excited about BB and Tyler Smith working next year with each other.
That was fun, wasn't it?
It was really
fun. That was some fun runs, and especially and I think you did a video earlier today about not getting Turpin involved in the run game earlier.
Yes, sir.
Did you do that video? Did I see you right on that on YouTube?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You was right. You was right about that. And my whole point about that video is that if you look,
you're absolutely right. How about the running game in general?
Turpin had 15 rushes this year, right, Bryan? Yeah. And 8 of those rushes were jet sweeps. And if you just go back and look at them, shouts out to our little websites, and we can go look at it like that. If you look at Turpin rushes, the first 8 or so plays are all jet sweeps, and the defense knows what Turpin's about to do. Jet sweep reverse type guy, they know when he does that. But if you just simply put him in the backfield and just run him,
they have no idea. They offset Hunter Lipke to set it up like strong right,
and they run
the ball left. Yep. And next you know, friggin' Brooks gets a block, Smith gets a block, BB gets a block, and now that thing's a 12-yard play. And they also had a chance right there where they almost had a score if he doesn't trip over Brooks's legs.
Sure.
That thing's going to be a 50-something yard run.
Sure.
That kid trips on Brooks's foot, and that thing is out the gate. That thing is going to be a touchdown. And he trips, and you're like, damn. But, yeah, Derek Eagleton and Amber Garcia and I were talking about that today. They were late to the party on this running game with when it came to potentially using Rico Dowdle and using Turpin together. They were very late to the party on that.
We knew, Bryan. But anyway, like you were saying though, the left guard and the center, that's going to be fantastic. So I think
I'm all about Banks. Yes, Banks.
If you can upgrade anything on that right side, Bryan, what are we doing with 60? Guyton, what are we doing with him? I know
they've got the biggest problem, Voch, that I hear from people in the organization is maturity issues. Got to become more mature. Not just stay. We're not at Oklahoma and doing this and doing that. It's a job now. Got to become more mature. Got to understand that, hey, you have responsibilities. You have to take your responsibilities serious. And so until then, I mean, the only thing wrong, in my opinion, other than I'm hearing about the maturity, to me, what I watch is the penalties.
Sure.
The player plays hard. He puts himself in position. He could be a little off sometimes, but he'll fight back. The penalties, it's the holding, it's the lining up off sides. That's the issues there,
Yeah.
you know? So I want to believe. I still want to believe. And I think Jerry even admitted this the other day on 105.3 The Fan.
Sure.
Plug and play is a term that we always tie into the Cowboys and their offensive linemen. The learning curve for Guyton was a lot deeper because the number of games he didn't play. The next time you tell me a guy's played 8 games or 9 games or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm going to say he's got a massive learning curve.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it. BB, not so much. BB, plug and play. I'd be interested to see BB play a little right guard too.
Yeah.
You know, just to see how that would look. But Guyton, I'm going to still ride with you, but I need you to develop some maturity about yourself.
I think the whole BBS center or guard thing is going to be a really good conversation. My whole point for advocating, you know, here on YouTube, I was advocating for a BB type player because I wanted a powerful center. You know what I'm saying? I think if you have a powerful center and sandwich him in between 2 powerful guards, I think you could do some really good run game things. And you can see that with him and Tyler Smith.
And we don't know about Thomas, the kid they drafted from Louisiana.
No clue. Yeah.
We have no clue. I mean, for all we know, he might be in the weight room just every day becoming like this monster dude.
Yeah.
You know?
He was already a strong player. He was already a strong guy. Yeah.
Strong, but now they kind of redshirted him. You know, when I mean redshirt, they sat him down a year, you know, kind of just hit him over here. You know, they got 4 or 5 strength coaches every day. He's showing up, and strength coach number 4 takes him and puts him through a workout, you know, and all that. And maybe when we get back onto the field in OTAs, we're going to go, that's Thomas?
Yeah.
And he's going to look completely different. And then all of a sudden, he's going to become a competitive guy. Now, they've had some struggles. You know, the let's goes and the balls, and then they've had some of these, you know, I mean, we'll see about Awesome Richards and all that. Mm-hmm. I wonder with all these linemen and Voch, I hope they don't make the mistake that if Banks is the best player on their board when they pick at 11, I hope they take him and they don't give us we've got Awesome Richards and we've got this guy and we've got Thomas and we've got, you know, please don't do that. I don't want him to do that at receiver too with Mingo. Yeah. Don't tell me, you know, don't tell me that, you know, I hope not. Don't let some of this, these roster, these young guys keep you from drafting a better player. You know,
I think
that's what I worry about.
I think the interesting thing about Kelvin Banks is that he fits 3 different spots on your offensive line if you need him to.
Sure does.
Whether you want to save some money with Terrence, whether your left tackle doesn't work out, or if your right guard retires, he probably is.
Yeah,
that might be worth looking at, Brian. That might be worth
no, it absolutely would be at 11. Yeah,
even if Hoffman / Bass / Thomas are somebody that can play for you, I don't think Terrence Steele has a guaranteed future here. You know,
I don't either. Yeah. I don't either. And to Terrence Steele's credit, he's played better the last 8 weeks.
Sure,
he really has. Really has.
Brian, I don't know about this Nick Scordon fella, man. You know, this Texas A&M kid. You know, shouts out to my guy Dane Brugler, man. He one of the goats in this thing, but boy, I disagreed to him to his face. So you know, I'm solid out here. So Brian, man, I'm not looking for Nick Scordon the edge from Texas A&M at 5, 6, 7, or 8. But man, what if we at 12th overall by the time this thing is all over, Brian? Does Nick Scordon fit 12 overall for you?
Man, I'm gonna let somebody else be a hero there.
Yeah,
I really am. I'm gonna let somebody else be a hero. I honestly, I can't do that. I just can't do that. I like him better. I think I like him better than Stewart, his teammate. Yeah. But this is not a twitchy guy. And am I having flashbacks?
Is he a 3-tech, Brian? What is he?
He might be 6'4", 285.
What is this guy?
I think there's some good quickness there. but I don't see a twitchy guy. The upper and lower body mass, the straight line speed. I think he wins more with power than quickness, though. All on this, I think he's more of a bull rusher.
More of a rundown guy. Runs down the middle of people still.
His best moves like spin move.
Yeah.
I would have a hard time with this one, and I wonder if I'm having the same thoughts about him that I had about Nealon coming out of Western Michigan.
Sure.
Does that seem similar to you?
I think they're very similar players, which is interesting because Nealon's a little bigger than him. But I think drafting Nealon at 54, I think that's way different than Scorden at 12 or something. So I'm passing on Scorden also, bro.
You know what? I'm letting somebody else be your hero there.
Yeah, I agree.
I hate this. I hate I'm a coward. I don't want to be a coward. I am not if he was taken in the first round, I would say, well, somebody's got a plan for him. Yeah. I don't think I could take that kid in the first round.
Yeah. Me neither.
I don't, not at 11. No, I couldn't.
I agree with you, man. How about this though, Bryan Broaddus, man? We missed out on Ted McMillan and them boys, man.
Mm-hmm.
We missed out on our guy, Travis Hunter at wide receiver.
I was trying to get Kavanaugh to fall in love with Ted McMillan, and he just won't do it.
Kavanaugh tripping. He don't watch enough film. It's all right. I'm on his ass. But man, Brian, what about that kid from Ohio State, man? What about that guy? What about Emeka Ibuka? What about that guy? You taking that guy 12?
Next to our guy, Ashton Genty. He might be the safest player on the board in the first round. Might be the safest player on the board. Football's important. He's played in a bunch of huge games. He's got really good size.
Yeah.
He'll go after the ball. He'll catch it, run after catch. He could be a really, really good number 2 for you on your current team, the way it sits. I would at 11.
Yeah.
He is. We're going to hear things about him in a positive way, and maybe in Burton we're going to hear about a really, really, really good player, and there'll be some things that off the field that are going to make maybe we should not do that.
What's his 40 time going to be?
Ibuka?
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be good enough.
We don't know. We don't know nothing, Brian. Hey, look. You're supposed to just lose the games and take the stud, Bryan. Now we're in this rough ass predicament. I like Ibuka though, man. I probably would like him a lot more. And like and that's weird, Brian, because if you get him at 17, you feel like he's a steal there. You know what I'm saying? If you get him,
this guy's 6'1", he's 206.
Bad boy, man. Also, here's another issue.
He plays. I think he plays fast. Ohio State. Let me give you a little insight on Ohio State. I think it's called the Woody Hayes Center, unless they've changed the name. The famous Ohio State coach. It's downhill. When you time 40s, when you run 40s, you run downhill at Ohio State. So unless they've got a brand new facility.
All them boys gonna run 4 threes.
I'm gonna get him running downhill is what I'm gonna do. But man, this guy, he's a disciplined runner.
Yeah.
The jet sweeps, the pop passes, smooth, the routes across the middle, catching the ball, move, turn it up the field. The guy makes plays at all levels. Come on, man. Don't ask me how fast he runs. He's fast enough.
Brian,
fast enough, my friend.
Yeah, it is though, man.
You don't like him at 11. You like him at 17.
I love the player.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know what's on the board when we get there. If all the other guys are gone, I'll take him there.
Him
at 12.
Okay, you're going to take Banks over him.
I'm taking Banks over Ibuka. Yes, sir.
You're not taking Nick Scorton over Texas A&M over him, are you?
Nick Scorton going to be in the 60s somewhere on my board.
Okay. I'm thinking who else you got. Let me hang on this. I'll get you. Oh, okay. Okay. Give me a second. Give me a second. I'll figure this out.
Down. I'm 10 toes down.
Yeah, I'll give you. Okay. Okay. So Ibuka or Walker from Georgia?
I'm taking Ibuka.
How about Ibuka or Michael Williams?
I'm taking Michael Williams in the 40s or something. I'm drafting Ibuka quickly.
Okay. Graham or Ibuka?
Mason Graham?
Penn State, yeah. I mean, that's a Michigan defensive tackle.
I'm taking Mason Graham, and we going to Golden Corral somewhere.
Okay. Have you looked at Ravel from East Carolina?
Siobhan Ravel, yes, sir. I'm taking Ibuka over him.
Okay, and you mentioned Will Johnson.
Mm-hmm. I'm taking Ibuka over Will Johnson also. All
right. There's some love there. There's some love there.
I like the kid a ton, Brian. It's just that, man, I just don't know, bro. I like the player a lot though, man. But yeah, I'll take him. Yeah, I'll take him at 12. I take him at 12. If my board lands correctly, I'm not taking Scorden and them over him. I'm just not.
There's no way in hell I'm doing that. I told you I'm gonna let somebody else be a hero.
Yeah, fire me.
You know, if it works out, man, the great thing about this YouTube channel that you and I have, somebody will go back and remind us, oh, God, on New Year's Eve, you two were talking crazy like you'd already been in the punch.
Talk about my wins, man. Talk about my wins. Don't just talk about my losses now. Man, Brian, I got one more for you, man.
Hey, speaking of talking about wins, I was on with Eric Chiafalo today doing radio, and Eric was talking about it. Him and Gavin Dawson and all those guys, they hated Josh Allen coming out. Hated. And my story was, gosh dang it, guys, he's throwing to damn cattle ranchers and pharmacists and and they're like, oh, he's terrible. Da, 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 da. So today, I mean, like they're talking like MVP talk and all that. I'm saying, is that the same guy that was throwing to cattle ranchers and pharmacists?
Get on him, Brian. You get on him. You got to remind him.
Eric says, well, Eric, you're right. You're right. You got him right.
That's the game we play, Brian. Let me ask you this though, man. Let me just close.
I don't like your book, by the way. Don't be bringing that book on the draft show next week. I don't want to see that damn. I don't want to see that damn book.
It's all up here, Brian. It's all up here. I want somebody to draft you like, man, this Lombardi kid had to look down at paper not one time. It's all good. It's okay. I'm a narcissist, Brian. You don't know me.
I know.
I'm arrogant as fuck, Brian. You know what I mean? Look, I'm not just here to win. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying?
You're trying to take somebody with you. I know what you're doing.
You know what I'm saying? Look, Brian, Faisal watching. You feel me? I'm trying, you know what I'm
saying? I'm getting myself mentally ready to deal with you for about 4 months on this draft.
Brian, if it was any other situation, I'd do the content like it's content. I'd do a great show. Faisal watching? Yeah. All right. Let's give a show there, Brian. Let me ask you this, though, man. Let me ask you this, though, Brian. I mean, we just talking, Brian. What's it going to take for you to draft that safety, though? I feel like we disrespecting him a little bit because he's a good player.
Yeah, I don't know. No. We ain't disrespecting that dude. No. You know what? I've got to see the Texas kid. The
corner?
He plays safety corner. Whoa.
Jadre, let me see.
You get it. Pull it up real quick. I usually have all these names in front of me, and I don't have my names in front of me.
Yeah, the Texas corner is Jadre Barron.
God, okay. Brian. Okay, I swear to God, folks, it's the last time I'll forget Barron's name. Okay. My son Bennett's a junior at Texas, and he and I were having dinner, and we were talking about Barron, and he was. I mean, he's like, Dad, seriously, guy can, you Dad, you love Brian Branch. I know you love Brian Branch. He goes, this kid got some Brian Branch to his game, Dad. I'm serious. Watch him. There's a possibility that I might, from what I'm hearing. Now I got to see it with my own eyes. Got a lot of good Texas film in.
Yeah.
So, but I want to see him play because I think that kid at Georgia, Starks, I think he's pretty damn good. But if Barron is better than him, then you know what? I'm saying it right now. without looking at him. But I'll tell you what, after watching the Cowboys safeties play this year, and especially the free safety,
Yeah.
you got to upgrade that thing, man. You've got to upgrade that thing. If you got somebody back there that can cover, can play in the slot, can play with range, can tackle, can ball hawk. It's not like what this Barron kid is. It sounds like that's what he is.
How about this, Brian? How about this? Me, everybody watching right now. When we go home, let's watch Jade Barron from Texas.
Yeah,
let's watch him, and then let's just come back.
I agree.
Let's just come back Tuesday, and we'll talk. Write that down, Brian. We're gonna watch.
I got it. No,
Barron.
I got it because I got like I say, I've got now. I'm with this season now coming to an end.
We can focus now.
I'm so excited just to get to watch college players full time and not have to worry about Eagles tape and tape and this tape. We can focus on. But I'm on a good start. I'm on a good run right now, and so hopefully, and I know you're on a good run too.
Sure.
So, but let's reconvene and talk about him for sure.
Yeah,
if we could.
Then we'll be doing that tomorrow. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's your homework for the night. Write it down, and we'll be on the test.
Yeah.
Go watch Jade Barron, the corner DB. We'll call him DB, the DB from Texas, and we'll come back
That's
here.
What young Bennett Broaddus is scouting him up. He says, "Dad, you're gonna like the kid."
Shouts out to young Bryan Broaddus. We'll cross that road whenever we get there. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Be sure to follow me on my socials, VOCHLOMB, ARDI, and BRYN. We're trying to get paid off social media now, so please go ahead.
Real quick, just a yes or no.
Please, man.
Do you feel better about the names potentially at 11? Do you feel? Are you feeling better?
Hell nah, Brian, because I want them names at 7. I want them names at 7. But this is my thing.
I understand.
This is my thing, though, man. I think.
But if the thing ends up to be 11, do you feel a little bit better?
I feel fine. I feel good. If I add Kelvin Banks, we get better. If we add Malachi Starks at safety, we will be a better team. If we add Ibuka, we'll be a better team. But boy, you know how crazy we'll get if we could have ran Carter and Parsons out there together.
We're not there.
That's my point. That's my point. But yeah, we good.
Unless we get a gas mask situation, which we can arrange.
He got weed in the car. He called the police, get his ass up. What y'all say? Abdul Carter robbed a Walmart? What y'all say?
I've got video. I've got video right here.
Yeah, boy, that AI crazy, boy. That AI, boy. I got some. Look, somebody find me an AI video of Abdul Carter robbing a Walmart in Frisco. Get that boy
in Frisco.
Take him in the second round, Brian. We straight.
Straight.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. I love having fun with y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next time. Crown.